the Jets are kind of on a winning streak themselves right now. They're rising up the standings pretty rapidly. They're second in the Central right now. So losses like this are going to happen, especially when you go on an 11 game point streak. Like near the end of that streak, you're going to have games like this where you're not as sharp mentally. If that makes any sense. But yeah, I don't think it's nothing too serious. They'll be fine, going into their next game.
Yeah, what would you define as a successful road trip, successful circus trip for this team?
I would have to look at like what opponents they're facing. I haven't totally looked at that far ahead. But anywhere around 500. Just get as you're gonna drop a couple games most likely. Just I don't know, just around 500, I would say.
I believe they have Calgary next.
Okay.
And then they play Edmonton at some point in Vancouver. I don't know the exact.
So they're going. Order. Yeah, it's through all of Canada.
They go through all of Canada, and then they go out west to play Anaheim and the Kings, I believe.
Okay, I feel like that's what they usually do on their circus trip, but we'll see how they do in those late night starts in Canada. I feel like sometimes that throws them off a little bit. But I mean, they're probably the superior team in most of those matchups.
Well, they've already beaten Calgary twice this season, but whenever you see an opponent for a third time, a lot of familiarity there. Vancouver is awful. They should be able to beat Vancouver pretty handily. Edmonton, I mean, that'll be really fun just because we get to watch McDavid.
They're still kind of up in the air. We're not totally sure, what this team's ceiling is. The Oilers.
And that's never easy to go out west.
Exactly.
And face those California teams. So we'll see what happens with the Blackhawks. I'm pretty confident in where they're at right now. I would probably define a successful road trip around 500 as well.
Yeah.
Another team on the circus trip is the Chicago Bulls.
Oh.
And the Bulls look a lot better than expected at this moment. They started off the circus trip strong with a win over Portland, a pretty much a beatdown over a good Blazers team, and then a win tonight in Utah. And they're 2-0 on the circus trip for the first time in about 20 years.
Wow.
So that's pretty spectacular. All of Bulls Twitter and some writers that I follow and myself, we're not really sure what to make of this team. Yet everyone's saying, are they good? Are they not good? They might be good. No one really knows. And things are still kind of up in the air. So they beat these really two good teams, and now they go on to play the Clippers on Saturday with a back-to-back against the Lakers on Sunday.
Yeah. I just wanted to point out, I know all of you Bulls writers are saying, is this team good? There's been one person who's been saying that this team is good since the very beginning. You know who that is?
No comment. No comment.
It's Blake Van Pocky. Soldier Field, BLG, follow him. All right, well, get back to your main points.
That's a great plug. If you want all your Bulls knowledge, the best Bulls follow in all the land, Soldier Field BLG, because he will tweet so much about the Bulls. It's insane.
I will talk about Dwayne Wade. I will talk about Tom Thibodeau. Thibodeau, how do you say it? Can we put that to bed? How do you say it?
You're hurting my soul.
I've said it both ways since they hired him in 2010.
Why would you bring up Tibbs? He's not even coaching the team.
I know, but I love him. How are the Timberwolves doing, by the way?
Well, the Timber Pups just beat the 76ers tonight, and Karl Anthony Towns and Andrew Wiggins had a ridiculous game. Like, each of them looked phenomenal, but it was against the Sixers. So
Wiggins is starting to figure it out offensively a little bit.
He is. And
I like it.
Of course, they were up like 30 points, and Wiggins and Cat played the whole fourth quarter pretty much. So, never change, Tom. Never change.
I love him. The Penguin.
He looks like a butcher. He looks like a
he could be.
man.
I think we've talked about this on the podcast.
We have. Maybe with Joel Brand, we probably talked about
the butcher.
Yeah, the butcher complex there. But enough about Tibbs and the Timber Pumps.
What's that Chicago team?
The Bulls. The Bulls.
Oh, that's
one that I like quite a bit.
Hey, I like him.
Oh yeah, you're the super fan. You're the best follow in the all the land.
Soldier Field blog, BLG.
Yeah, so things are just like kind of up in the air with this Bulls team, and one recent topic of conversation that has been going around is how the Bulls are so much better when Rajon Rondo is not on the floor and is not playing.
Yeah.
The past two games, the first two games of the Circus Trip, Rondo has been out with an ankle injury, and Jerrion Grant has gotten the starting nod. Before these two starts, Grant has had some kind of spotty playing time, but these past couple games, he's been pretty decent. He's been pretty good. He's been playing under control. He's not forcing things. His handle still isn't the best. He's not an offensive threat, but provides a little bit more spacing on the floor than Rondo does, and it allows Jimmy Butler and Dwayne Wade to bring the ball up and initiate offense, which has been something that has worked for the Bulls. It's been very successful when Jimmy or D Wade bring up the ball and run the show.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, obviously Rondo has been kind of a negative player when he's on the court. Say this winning streak keeps up without him. Like, is there any chance Hoiberg uses him differently in the future?
As in bench him?
As in, not a starter. Maybe maybe just less minutes overall.
Possibly crunch time minutes. You remove him in that fourth quarter and kind of have Jimmy initiate. But that's kind of what they were doing anyway. They were keeping him in, but Jimmy would just run the offense. I would love for him not to play fourth quarters at all and just be a first quarter, third quarter guy. That'd be fine with me. Isaiah Cannon's been getting a lot of run recently, backup point guard role. I'm still not entirely sold on him just because he's so undersized and he's pretty bad on defense. Yeah. But he tries pretty hard on the defensive end. Valentine got a little bit more play tonight, hit a nice three. So until Michael Carter-Williams gets back, that backup point guard spot is kind of like up for debate. Jerrion Grant.
They have a lot of point guards.
They do. And
we'll see 4 or 5.
We'll see who the odd man out is. Yeah. I don't think you can bench Rondo, take him out of the starting lineup because I don't know. You're paying a good amount of money for him, and also I think his attitude would kind of flare up at that point, and he would not be a happy camper.
Here's the thing, though. Like the 2 games I've watched, the one with him and the one without him, the offense looks just so much better. I mean, I know it's like only a couple games, but like the offense just looks way more efficient with him not taking the ball off the floor.
That's accurate. The statistics back you up. His net rating is not very good. The assist numbers are up with Rondo on the floor, but oftentimes Rondo likes to like dribble himself into assists. So kind of hold the ball until the shot clock starts to wind down and then find somebody to shoot, which isn't necessarily a bad thing all the time. But sometimes you have good Rondo who is aggressive towards the basket and is not hesitant and makes smart passes and tries to push the pace but doesn't turn the ball over. And then you have bad Rondo who provides no spacing, throws awful passes, and it just the offense looks a little even stagnant at times with Rondo in, just because the spacing is so bad.
I think that's what I've noticed the most is spacing and things like that.
Well, that was the number one thing going into this season that all of us were so concerned with is who is going to provide shooting for this team. Jimmy, I don't know if you've noticed Jimmy Butler's play over the past this whole season. His averages are around 26 points. And he's just been playing unbelievable. He's carrying this team. He's getting to the line. He's being extremely aggressive. His mid-range game is crazy. Creates a ton of separation on his step-back jumpers. He's playing great defense. Played great defense on Gordon Hayward tonight. Shut him down completely. I know he's still bothered by kind of a broken finger. But Jimmy played some great D there. And D Wade has been great for Jimmy Butler. Has been so good for Jimmy Butler, building up his confidence. You can tell those two are pretty close already.
Yeah, is he in that mentor type role?
Yeah, he has been like a big confidence boost for Jimmy, basically feeding his ego and saying, you're the best player on this court right now, take over, and allowing him to close out games. Him and Wade together. And it's been really cool to watch. I still don't know. Jimmy obviously is not going to average 26 points over a whole season. If he is, then we can jump into some early MVP talks.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people, trying to get more recognition for Jimmy Butler as like calling him maybe like a bona fide superstar, which I think he is at this point. Yeah, I think he's up there in that conversation.
I mean, he's a top 15 player in the NBA. I can confidently say that. And when you're in that level, you're in the conversation for superstardom. So, I mean, a lot of people are still sleeping on Jimmy Butler a little bit, but recently he's been great. He's been so good, and he's definitely the leader of this team. This is definitely his team, 100%.
Just great to see because, a lot of people were like, who's going to be the voice that steps up? But I'm glad he's taken control of that.
You know what else is really strange about this Bulls team so far is that Robin Lopez is taking a ton of shots.
I heard Chuck complaining, not really complaining, but just he kept pointing out that Robin Lopez was taking a lot of shots in the game I watched.
Mainly his last two games. Some of this is he's always open at the elbow. For that pick and pop game, and he can hit that jumper from time to time. Also, him and Taj are just rebounding machines. Bulls are the best rebounding team in the NBA right now, statistically. They got 60-some rebounds in the game against Portland, which is ridiculous. And, it also helps if you make the other team miss a ton. But Robin Lopez and Taj have been great on the boards, ton of offensive rebounds. Robin Lopez is just a big dude. He is. He just gets in the way. He's able to push people around, and I can confidently say that he has been a significant upgrade over Noah from last year. Noah's career is kind of just dying out in New York right now. I don't know if you've kept tabs, but he is
a little bit
absolutely dreadful.
Well, I saw the video of him just airballing maybe a 12-foot shot. And I was like, this is not going to end well.
Yeah, so I've been impressed with Rolo. I don't think he should be getting more shots than Jimmy Butler in the first quarter of every game. But been impressed with him. As long as they're still crashing the boards, I'm all right with that. I'm all right with it. So we'll see what's going on with this team. 8-4 now. That's good. It's good for 4th or 5th in the East currently.
We'll see. Where we were predicting.
Saturday is going to be a huge game.
Who do they got Saturday?
They have the Clippers on Saturday, who are 10-2 at the top of the West.
That'll be a test. They're a very good team.
It will be a test, and then I think the bigger test will be Sunday against a very young Lakers team that has been impressive so far under Luke Walton.